Hello everybody, my name is Verax and welcome to the first episode of Let's Read The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. I thought this was a good time to do it since we've had a major fight with a ghost in the well, and I was having a little look around and it doesn't seem to be too much, so I kind of want to keep on top of this, so I'm just going to have a couple of episodes here and there which will be labelled as such, which don't feature any gameplay. So if you're not interested in this, fair enough, just get the video and I'll get on to slaying stuff and indeed being slayed next episode, or being slain. But yeah, it looks like we've got a couple of characters to read and a couple of things here and there, so I'll just kind of go through it and see where we go. But before I do, I would like to thank you all very, very much for all of the hints and tips that I've had, all the information I've had about the game. I do hope to use at least most of it within my playthrough. It's really positive that you guys are pretty stoked about this, and so am I. And I actually kind of wanted to play this, but I thought, no, let's do a let's read, and so we don't let all these sort of indexes get away with us. So, Geralt of Rivia. Many cannot fathom the friendship Geralt of Rivia and I, Dandelion, have shared all these years. When we first began breaking bread together, spiteful tongues said he'd be better off cutting my throat and dumping my body in a hollow tree, before I provoked someone else into doing the same to us both. These individuals spoke out of pure jealousy, for Geralt was my dearest friend. In fact, he gave ample evidence on numerous occasions. I could say a great deal about the world-famous monster hunter, the man known in elder speech as Gwyn Bleeden or something, or in our younger yet no less noble tongue, the White Wolf, for Geralt of Rivia is a truly exceptional individual. A brief encounter might tempt one to label him a mere swinger of swords or a simple monster catcher, a rough and tumble practitioner of a dirty trade. But peer closer and you will soon discover he is a man of unplumbed depths, unique views, and vast world-spanning experience. He's been alive for about 100 years, and most of that's been spent traversing the world. Many adventurers we've followed during the book. So yeah, he's got a lot of experience. On the surface, he is introverted, tight-lipped, one might even say gruff, but underneath lies an overflowing sea of goodwill, good humour, and an honest readiness to help his friends, be it with a bit of sound advice or a masterful application of his blade. Setting aside cumbersome false modesty, I can say I know his story better than any man alive. I was with him through hard times and good, helping with wise advice, warm words, and razor wit. As a result, I am a vital part of his story, both in his earlier and present portions. It is thus my duty to continue my chronicle and, for the benefit of future generations, put in writing the next chapter of his deeds and exploits. And that was written by Dandelion, so we'll read him next. A lot of these people we haven't met yet, Eskel and Lambert, and Cirilla was just in the opening dream, along with Yennefer. But yeah, Dandelion next. I would wager anyone that you, dear reader, are a person of culture and taste, and therefore already familiar with me, Dandelion, and the role I am to play in the following tale. Nevertheless, allow me to sketch a few lines by way of self-portrait for the sake of thoroughness, and in the event you have spent much of the last half-century in some dark corner where the light of my star is yet to reach. Born in 1229, a talented poet and troubadour, a graduate of Oxenford Academy, a frequent performer at royal courts, an unequalled lover appreciated and in some cases adored by ladies worldwide, a skilled negotiator and a stirring orator. Such is the image of the bard Dandelion is painted by his friends and promoters. This image is, of course, somewhat overbright in its colouring. I personally prefer to think of myself as a dedicated artist in thrall to his muse, one whose work has benefited immeasurably from the fact that I was, and am and forever will remain a close friend and steadfast companion to the Witcher Geralt. It is his fate I chronicle in his present work, and his story which I shall sing to the end of my days. I wonder if these will update as we go through. Probably not, I'm thinking. Probably not. Let's learn about Visme, since he's our current companion. Vesemir was the oldest living member of the Wolf School and most likely the oldest Witcher of any school on the continent. About as long in years as the ruins of Kaer Morgan themselves, and though entirely complaining about its creaky bones, this master of the Witcher trade gave no thought to a well-deserved retirement. Grey, but still spry, he continued to ply the monster hunting trade into his golden years, effectively to see more beasts than all his students put together. A harsh and demeaning instructor of Geralt's youth, over the years he had become something of an adoptive father and mentor to the other witches, always ready to help with sage advice and steady hands. In the spring of 1272, when our story begins, Vesemir had joined Geralt on his search for Yennefer, trekking with him through war-ravaged Temeria. The Witcher 2 actually ended with the invasion beginning, and this is a number of decades after that. It looks like it's still ongoing. Well, it looks like it's kind of happened now, but war-ravaged, as if things haven't quite settled down. Still a lot of malcontent within the populace, if that is the same invasion, of course. Yennefer. The Witcher first met the raven-haired sorceress a good 20 years back. Their friendship and the feelings between them were born of a common adventure involving a genie and a wish granted to Geralt that intertwined their fates inexorably. Yes, if you've seen the TV series, or probably read the books. I know I haven't read the books, or at least not all of them. I've read maybe 4/5 of one of them. I'm just not very good at reading. I'm sorry, I'm just not very good at it. As you can probably tell by me doing this. In the time since their relationship had, however, been quite stormy. Rich ups and downs, crises and breaks-ups. Geralt and Yennefer's love provides irrefutable proof of the thesis that opposites attract. A few years ago, Geralt and Yennefer had, after a long separation full of adventures for them both, gotten back together again. Their moment of repose was interrupted by the wild hunt, which took Yennefer captive. The Witcher set out at once to save her, but lost his memory while doing so. When he finally recovered it, he immediately set off once more on his quest to find his beloved sorceress. Yeah, that's actually in the games. Alright, who next? Cirilla. Cirilla, Fiona, Ellen, Rhiannon. What can I possibly say about her? We call her Ciri for short, that she was born in 1251, that she has ashen hair and a scar on her cheek. All true, and that's the Cirilla I know best, the one I first laid eyes upon those many years ago, the one who seemed thoroughly, well, not ordinary, but certainly not as extraordinary as she in fact is. For Cirilla is also a highly skilled witcher, heiress to several thrones, the last bearer of the Elder Blood, a powerful source endowed with exceptional magic talent, and the lady of time and space. Her hair colour and date of birth seem rather incidental now, don't they? Yeah, also this is the younger version, but I think this was quite a while ago, so I've seen screenshots and stuff of an older version of Ciri, so I'm guessing this might update with a different picture at least. Don't know. I could also tell you she is Geralt's adoptive daughter, but that would be a gross simplification. Ciri is much more. She is his destiny, his unexpected child, someone bound to the Witcher by fate's most inextricably tangled fetters. Following age-old Witcher tradition, Geralt took Ciri to Kaer Morhen when she came into his care. There, he and Vesemir taught her the ways of the professional monster slayer. It was then that her magic talents was first revealed, and she discovered she was a source. Ciri's gift proved a curse as well. Because of it, she would one day have to hide from the entire world, even Geralt. Which is possibly what she's doing right now. Alright, we'll do the others. Eskel. Oh yeah, these were the two that were in the opening tutorial bit, the dream. All witches have a great deal in common, but with Eskel and Geralt the similarities are particularly striking. They first met as two boys of the same age swinging wooden swords at Kaer Morhen. They then went through an ordeal together, the first round of selections, the murderous changes, the trial of the grasses, and the training of the gauntlet. The witches' daunting obstacle course. They also received hidings together for more than one act of childish delinquency. When they became adults, they walked the path separately, but still reconvened at Kaer Morhen nearly every winter to wait out the cold, drink to their success, and remember fallen comrades. Though Eskel never gained Geralt's renown, he equalled the White Wolf in experience and carried out his contracts with care and efficiency. Death had almost taken him many times during his hunts, yet in an ironic twist, the hideous scar on his face came not from a monster's claw, but from the blade of Dieter Edamin, his highly unappreciated, unexpected child. Unpredictable, unexpected child. And Lambert, the youngest amongst the witches of Kaer Morhen, and perhaps the last ever trained within its walls. By the start of our tale, Lambert had proved his chops many times over, having hunted down many mighty beasts and traversed nearly all the continent's realms several times over. Yet, he had also developed a reputation for arrogance and sardonic humour, and his gruff and at times excessively blunt manner could irritate even his fellow witches of the school of the White Wolf. Whatever his vices, it went without saying that Lambert could brave the fires of any hell for his companions. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? So we got some books, but we've kind of seen all these. The Yellow Diary and everything like that, and the Brother Missing and all that. Here's a lovely crafting thingy. We are looking for the bestiary. Alright, we'll start here and just go down on it, you know. It's just from top to bottom. Makes sense. Wolves. A friend of mine used to say that all these griffins and basilisks and whatnot, good old-fashioned wolves, weren't nothing to worry about. Then the damn beasts devoured half his flock. Once upon a time, wolves were absolute rulers of the forest. Men used them to frighten children, while adults too trembled at the sound of their howling. Post-conjunction monsters not only pushed wolves into the deepest wilds, but also took over their place in human nightmares. Yet this does not mean that the old predators cease to be a danger. Wolves do not have a drop of magic within them, breathe no fire and spit no acid, but that in no way stops them from killing unwary travellers and hunters. Particularly dangerous are wags, a nasty and ferocious subspecies of wolf, and the snow-white wolves which today can only be found in the wild highlands of the Skellige archipelago. Griffins! Yes, there's a griffin. We should make note of this, because we're probably gonna. I reckon this is the end boss, so you know the final challenge to this area. Just the way it seems to be in build. I, half eagle, half tomcat, just like the Lord's crest, except this one was carrying me dead cow instead of a scepter. Griffins were once only found in the high mountains, where they would hunt marmots and wild goats. When humans encroached on their lands, however, griffins soon discovered a new source of much more plentiful and easier caught prey: cows, sheep, and shepherds. Though still wary of main roads and towns, where folk had the means to hire a witcher alike to dwell, these half-eagle, half-wildcat creatures have gone from rarities to oft-encountered pests throughout the northern realms. Especially hated are the subspecies known as royal griffins and archgriffins. Drowners. They don't like fire. Okay, yeah, I knew that. That's why I was using fire against those ones before. When at the water's edge, you gotta be quiet. First of all, so as not to scare the fish. Second, so you don't attract drowners. Drowners resemble a corpse dredged from the bottom of a pond. It is sickly blue or green in colour, with slime and sludge oozing out of every pore, and the acrid stench of rot wafting off of it. That is why it's often thought drowners, along with their more dangerous cousins vodniks, mudnixes, and drowned dead, arise from the bodies of those who drown in shallow water. Lost travellers falling into bods, children who swim too far from the shore, or, in the case of vodniks, inebriated peasants who stumble off narrow swamp trails. So if you're drunk and you fall into a swamp, you become a mega drowner. And ghouls. Ghouls and graviers are hard to describe. In part, they resemble humans, yet on the whole, they are the utter negation of all that is human. Though they have arms and legs like men, they walk on all fours like dogs or badgers. Though they have eerily familiar faces, one searches them in vain for any sign of sentiment, reason, or even a spark of consciousness. They are driven by one thing, and one thing only, an insatiable craving for human flesh. We read the Noon Wraith before. I'll do the Devil in the Well afterwards, but... Alright, so on particularly searing summer days, when the sun reaches its zenith, wraiths will at times appear, resembling sun-scorched women dressed in long white robes. These are noon wraiths, the spirits of young women and girls who died violent deaths right before their weddings. Driven mad with pain and anger, they wander the field searching for their unfaithful lovers or backstabbing rivals, though they will kill anyone who does not get out of their way in time. They are often held in this world by some object of intense emotional significance. That is why, if one ever finds a wedding ring or torn veil in the middle of a field, one should not pick it up, but instead back away as quickly as possible. And we've dealt with one of these, specifically the Devil by the Well. Wears his dirty dress, all rags, its skin flaking off its bones, and it howls like it's suffering. Indeedy. Look at this, she's giving us the finger. What on earth? The residents of White Orchard had suffered more than their fair share of misfortunes. Passing armies had trampled their spring planting, a griffin had begun abducting their livestock, and the rotten icing on this painful cake, a noon wraith haunted a nearby well. No wonder the locals had called this final evil a devil. The Witcher could sense something bound her to this place, and that in order to send her off to the ethereal realms, he would first need to learn her secret. Once that were done, he would then have to prepare for battle. Yeah. A Noon Wraith is a demanding opponent. She could disorient her victim by blinding him and creating mirror images of herself. These copies slowly suck their victim's life energy, while their mistress remains untouchable. In order to defeat her, the Witcher could not rely on his silver sword alone. The Yrden sign would also be needed to trap her and force her to take on material form. Witchers don't normally feel a limited range of emotions regarding the monsters they slay. They despise the particularly cruel ones and repulse by the disgusting ones, but rare indeed is the monster for which they feel sympathy. Yet this is exactly what Geralt felt for the Noon Wraith of White Orchard. For a long time he was haunted by thoughts of the young woman whose horrible death and powerful emotions had transformed her into that terrible monster. Alright. Yeah, and these are just like random stuff. And notice here we've got Elite Crossbow set, Nilfgaardian Crossbow, the Quartermaster of the Crow's Perch Castle. If I want, I don't think, I mean this is sort of like, I don't know. These are all things that I can do if I kind of. There's plenty at Crow's Perch Castle. I'm not sure where that is, unless of course that's here. That's what this is. Could be. It looks like a castle, kind of. You know, it's got a keep there and a courtyard. Yeah, it could be. You know, it's a good place to put it on a castle, and you know, so that could be Crow's Perch Castle. But I don't know whether I'll pursue any of those particularly much. Yeah. Otherwise, I think we've kind of read everything for now. There's plenty of things in the tutorial with. There we go. Yes, someone mentioned this in a comment that I can get a pretty good armor set from that merchant. So I might be. I don't think there's anything here that I particularly need to read like on camera. So we're kind of done. We are kind of done for the first episode of Let's Read The Witcher. So I'll be back in, you know, how long it takes to amass maybe half an hour's worth of reading, and then come back and do it again. If I miss anything, or if you think I should read something else, let me know. And if there's anything else you think I should know that you know, isn't really directly related to any sort of gameplay that's happened, these videos are usually a good place to write those comments. So once again, I do thank you all very, very much for joining me for this adventure. Long may it continue, and I think that it soon will. Next episode, we might even level up to level 1. I'll find out what all this stuff's about. So I heard that like fast attacking is pretty common. For builds, there was something else as well. Just bear with me a second. Let's see if I can find that comment. I don't think I can right now. I think I know how it starts. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's fine. It's by Drew. Okay. First common thing you see is basically a fast attack build combined with lots of igni. So maybe I'll avoid those and go for like marksmanship. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not saying that I'll completely neglect those. Oh, hello. But I will not maybe focus on them and do some different kind of builds. But I'm not sure. So again, anything pertaining to this, you know, now's a good place to say it. Alright then, so once again, thank you very much for joining me for this adventure. We shall continue it very soon, but for now, that's the first episode of Let's Read, and I shall see you next time. Until then, thanks very much, and toodaloo.